Hi everybody, you found your way to Tarot Down Under. Regular intrepid viewers, hello from tomorrow in Australia. First of all, a trigger warning for anyone who thinks Trump still has any kudos left on the world stage. Even Putin thinks the Yeti is a numbskull. And if you have any doubts about that, I'd refer you to the mashup that's doing the rounds. It was originally on Russian state television of Trump singing Senorita into Putin's ear. So we have that. And to any evangelicals who are being really wicked and looking at a tarot channel, I'm here to break the news. Your leaders are just as corrupt as the rest of them. So this is what happens with dynasties, as you guys call them. We call them dynasties. Falwell and all the others. Their criminal behaviour, their shallow, hypocritical behaviour is coming undone. So if you've been pledging tithe to these guys who have twisted the gospel beyond all recognition, I think it's time to have a think. Just have a think. Bless you all. Other than that, I'll give you a moment to move on. So an immense amount has been happening, as always. Never a dull moment in the Yeti's world, is there? I mean, Yeti 2's not doing well. Boris failed to turn up to his own press conference in Brussels. Luxembourg, sorry. It's just beyond belief. The whole thing beggars belief. And it was capped off. I read today that James Murdoch, the son of Rupert Murdoch, went on the record, he was interviewed somewhere and said, "My father and Fox News have destroyed America." That's from the lips of James Packer. Really, it's a true story. So, I thought, what is going on generally? We needed to catch up, and I thought, who is running the country? Well, I'll tell you who isn't running the country. Where's my list? Currently, you are without a Homeland Security Secretary, or they have acting people. You can imagine either a pen pusher from within the department or someone handpicked by the Yeti to do the job. So there's no one doing Homeland Security. Director of National Intelligence, possibly the most important job in the nation. No, got to fill in. Secretary of the Army, they must have gone to the Manpower Agency or something. They're looking for a Secretary of the Army, a Secretary of the Air Force, lest we forget the 40 trips to Scotland. National Security Advisor. This is not a real government. So I thought, look, what's happening behind the scenes generally? And then we could call it gossip, but sadly it's not. It's news that's been leaked, which is Jared and Ivanka are desperate to get rid of Pence, and apparently threaten him was the term the whistleblower used, threaten him every week. Can you imagine what hideous George Orwellian version of hell they are going to substitute as a vice president? Could be Ivanka. I think that would really promote gender equality. She knows so much about working women, and she only has the help of, 24 staff, but she really understands, and she wants to make America great, even though she has everything made in China. So I'm going to look, first of all, at Ivanka and Jared and this story about them wanting to get rid of Pence. So let's see. Now, Jared, Ivanka, and Pence. Jared, Ivanka, and Pence. Let's have a look. Oh, and in other developments, I told you on the last video, Dave and I did a little competition on good nicknames for the Yeti, other than the Yeti, of course, which is timeless. And he thought I put it up, and I thought he put it up, and no one put it up. So now it's up. So I'll find it and put the link on this video. Personally, even though I voted for another one, The Lion King really works when you see it in print. Yeah. So, Ivanka, Jared, and Pence. There's a menage a trois. Let's look. Well, first out of the blocks, fool's gold. So let's have a look. I'm going to do a slightly bigger spread here. Let's have a look what's going on with this arrangement. So they're all in it for the money. Hand of God. This is part of the problem with the Trumps. They're actually convinced, I think, even though none of them are church going, I think they're sort of convinced they are meant to be there, and this is destined. We've got the Wheel of Fortune coming up here to be advisors to the president. So I think this is them more than Pence. Now, what we've got here is the mini Pence story. We have the card of compromise, pennies to the poor. This is Pence's compromise to stay in the seat. And the apprentice card. Right, now they're the babies in this. None of this dynasty has any political experience or acumen, and Lord knows it shows. So although they're the babies, they have the power. And so Pence is left just trying to maintain, in the sense. So giving alms to the poor, meaning in this context, they are giving him crumbs to be getting on with, but he knows they want him out. Now, I might be one of the people who underestimates Pence in all this. This is the hasty revenge card. Now, this story about them trying to get rid of Pence isn't hasty. They've apparently been at it for months and months. So it's not them. I think this is Pence. Oh, sorry. Correction, viewers. First digression. I just heard clear as day, Bolton. Why has he leapt into this reading? He is the one who's going to wreak revenge. Now, I've never liked Bolton. I doubt there's a viewer on this channel who likes Bolton. You know, he's a thuggish hawk. He has no time for soft diplomacy. He would probably just happily nuke the Middle East and not blink an eyelid. He's a ghastly creature, But I'm working on the principle, your enemy's enemy is your friend. And I think Bolton, because he's really pissed off now, he is so angry. I think the reason he's turned up in this is he said to Pence, you're next. I think that's what that card's about, and I heard Bolton. So, where does that leave Pence? Everyone in this conversation is here for a karmic reason. And Ivanka and Jared could have been the pretty playthings of the Western world, but no, they insisted on becoming senior advisors to the President of the United States, and their comeuppance is down the track. Pence is a more God-fearing man, and he's convinced he's ordained to be there. So Pence, I think, is going to fight. He's feeling embattled. I am not surprised. The Queen of Cups turns up here, my Princess Diana card. He's keeping a lid on his emotions. This one, he's keeping the lid on more than that, viewers, as we know. And so I have to do more clarifiers on this. So Pence is embattled, but he's convinced he's meant to be there, so he's not going to be easy to shift. Okay, just let me get my clarifiers on board here. Have a look. So my first question for the clarifiers is, who's going to win this duel? This power game. Who's going to win this power game between Ivanka and Jared on the one side and Pence on the other? Let me bring you down. Oh, coffin. The main female being Ivanka. Okay, so we have here an adjudication. We have the coffin. And we have the main female. Now, I would see that as, even though, digressions number 2, even though I think, correct me if I'm wrong, viewers, the VP is technically a discretionary role chosen by the president. Usually the party has worked it out, and it's just a notional yay from the president that we are not living in normal times. I think this adjudication is about the GOP looking into the legality of this. Can he do this? Can he get rid of Pence? What? I think it's that energy. I might need a clarifier on the clarifier. Who's dead? Here we have the main female. So does that mean she wins and Pence is dead? Or the other way round? So let me pose the question differently. Will Pence prevail? Will Pence prevail? The mature man. So that's not bad. I think he's there for now. Okay. Now, I promised you in the last video, in the Too Much News, Not Enough Gossip segment, Bill Gates. Is Bill Gates going to get caught up in the Epstein stuff? Now, we must remind ourselves, the exit of Epstein is not the end of all this. Far from it. I've always said Dems are going to get caught up in this. It's truly ugly. So I'm going to look at Bill Gates, because apparently he was wined and dined by Epstein to give money to his bizarre and amoral, one could argue, relationship with MIT. Someone should be sacked at MIT. I mean, every university is starved for money, even the big ones, and that doesn't mean you're off the hook morally from taking money from a convicted pedophile, you know, who wanted to just reproduce himself. He was up front. That's his scientific interest, was how to make or clone a million me's, you know. Dreadful stuff, dreadful stuff. Bill Gates. Bill Gates. Have a little look at Bill Gates. The Empress, that's Melinda or Melissa or whatever her name is, the wife. Yeah, moving away. I'm sure they'd like to move away from the scandal. Scandal, moving away. By the way, sorry, the Empress on top, often my Ivanka card, but I think that's his wife, and she's been profoundly active in all their work. I'm not entirely convinced it's all good, but, you know, at least they sort of put money into malaria funding in obscure places. So they, on the one hand, they do good works, but I wonder about it all. Okay, this is Bill Gates in relation to this scandal. This is the Ace of Wands. There's going to be new information come to light. Wands are fire. This is going to be embarrassing, if nothing else, for Gates. And we have here the Ace of Cups. He's actually very upset. Really upset. So before we move on, I will just have a quick look here. Now, about the gun control stuff. Now, viewers, I don't know if anyone else had the same reaction. Beto is obviously genuinely upset. El Paso is his hometown. And when he famously said a few weeks ago now, hell yeah, we're coming after your AK-15s, right? That was a cue. Most Americans don't dispute the fact semi-automatic weapons should be off the streets. Where were the 100 million responses that should have come the day after he said that, saying, I stand with Beto? Every parent should have been on their platform. Every real church person should have been on the platform. Anyone who cares about gun control should have. Anyone who's ever voted Democrat should have been on there. Thinking Republicans, never thought I'd put those two words together. Ew. I'm trying to be generous, trying to be fair. Stand with Beto. Love the Beto. Okay, it's not too late. I really want to see 100 million signatures. He's getting the death threats now because he's been left dangling in the wind. If 100 million people had jumped on every social platform and said, I back Beto, we would be in a better place. Not too late. Okay. What about, the other juicy thing was, I've been hanging for this for nearly 3 years. I've been waiting for Trump to be booed in some context, and it happened at a military swearing in. How amazing is that? I'm waiting for the day it happens at a live rally. He's not going to cope. He's not going to cope. All right, now, a moment. Sorry about that. The pug was having an asthma attack. There's always something with pugs. Always something. So I'm going to finish this on this theme of who's running the country. Mick Mulvaney, slimy little worm. Slimy. Disgusting. Truly awful. Let's see. Mick Mulvaney. Oh, he gets the compromise card. He can't compromise enough. He's just dreadful. Oh, his time will come. Okay. In this context of that question, he's the one closest to Trump on an everyday basis. I think he's worked out the Yeti. He knows what flies and what doesn't. And I think he's actually immensely powerful because Trump has no idea, no clue, and no interest in actually running the country. Does it make me richer? If not, don't bother me with it, right? So Mulvaney, this is Mulvaney doing the pretend compromise act. He's prepared to grovel and lick Trump's shoes and accumulate immense personal power. Ooh, yucky poo-poo. Queen of Pentacles. Now, I don't think it's Pelosi in relation to Mulvaney. Who's the Queen of Pentacles? Maybe it is Pelosi. There's some woman. Oh no, viewers. Ooh, Nikki Haley. I just heard Nikki Haley. Ooh, yucky poo. This is a bigger problem. Okay, let me finish this and we'll double back to Nikki Haley. King of Swords, my ex-Mueller card. It's a ruthless person in power. Mulvaney has one of those sort of easygoing type faces. He's sharp. The King of Swords is sharp, but I think he's playing Trump like a fiddle. The world is watching. America should be the leading power of the free world. This has been the case since the end of the Second World War. However, we are looking here at the throwing away of American power. Our Pentecostal rubbish Prime Minister is meeting with the Yeti as we speak. Donald Trump will probably say, I've just met with the Prime Minister of Austria or something. He wouldn't even know where Australia was. We've had a slogan in Australia by our right-wing governments all the way with LBJ. It started in the 60s. And Australia keeps volunteering to go into this ridiculous coalition of the losers type things. Anyway, in relation to Mick Mulvaney, it's the end of a whole cycle. He has an end game in mind. But if I'm right that this is Nikki Haley, who I call the Girl Scout with an Uzi, it's my worst nightmare if she gets a significant role, because she presents well. She'd be very good for the Republicans. I so hope she says no. But I think Mick Mulvaney is part of the push saying we need Nikki Haley. She was the ambassador to the world, so there's a connection there. I think Mick Mulvaney's talking with Nikki Haley. There was a story came out in the last few days when the Ivanka Jared stuff trying to get rid of Pence, making Nikki Haley vice president. Ooh, I think Mick Mulvaney is pushing for that. Truly, really, really and truly. So, I'm going to leave it there. I'll put the link. It's only a short video that Dave and I did on the competition for names. Keep sending them in. The other one that's been out and about is the Master of Disaster. I like that too. Okay, guys. Bye for now. Catch you soon.